We're back with the second episode in Chaos to Calm. I'm Bonnie Adams. In the last episode, we talked about the real anxiety that follows families around when addiction moves in. Today, we're talking about control, what it looks like when you try to manage someone else's addiction, how it wears you down, what fear and anxiety actually look and feel like, and what you can still do when nothing goes the way you had hoped. This is just what real families experience in the midst of addiction. Anxiety here isn't a faint background hum. It's more like a blaring car alarm you can't shut off. Imagine driving home after a long day, your stomach is tied in knots, you're unsure if your loved ones even come back, or if you're gonna walk in on calm, chaos, or emptiness. The phone buzzes in your cup holder, you feel the jolt in your chest, you hesitate to look, not knowing if it's a crisis or just a meaningless spam call. At home, you might sit at the table surrounded by people, but you feel utterly isolated. Everybody is tight-lipped, tiptoeing around real talk, afraid of setting off another argument or meltdown. You might even feel guilty for wanting to break the silence. Sometimes anxiety shows up when the house is too quiet, or when someone suddenly stops texting you back again, or you catch yourself pacing at 3 a.m. listening for footsteps or proof of life. You replay old arguments and what-ifs, lying in bed and staring at the ceiling. Day-to-day anxiety can be a rapid heartbeat during a routine argument, snapping at your kids for something minor, or withdrawing entirely because the emotional weight just bulldozed you. Some days, anxiety pares your world down to survival. Get through today, answer the right call, protect one boundary, still yourself for whatever crisis is next. It is unpredictable, ugly, and it never waits for a convenient time. Fear isn't idle background noise. It rewires families, one decision and one conversation at a time. You become hypervigilant, you scan for tone changes, an "I'm fine" that sounds anything but fine, an eye roll, or a door that closes just a little bit too hard. Hope and dread start to blur together. Horrible! Even when your loved one seems to improve, you brace yourself, waiting for the letdown. That underlying dread whispers, peace isn't going to last. Attempts at communication become a minefield. You avoid certain subjects, tiptoe around issues, or get stuck in the same old arguments with zero resolution. The tension leads to outbursts or long stretches of silence as everyone retreats, desperate for a break. This energy spreads through every part of your life. You might decline invitations because you can't imagine answering questions about your home. You worry about being around other families that just don't get this brand of chaos. Some family members turn into caretakers or detectives, searching rooms, tracking social media, monitoring everything. Others disappear into denial, refusing to talk about what's right in front of them. It's a push-pull that keeps everyone stuck. So what does this anxiety look like in action? You watch your partner track the last known location of your loved one on their phone after both of you promise to take a break from the stress. You refresh Messenger, WhatsApp, or find My iPhone, hoping for a ping that means your loved one is safe. Shopping trips that aren't really for groceries. You're actually looking for stashes, cash, or signs of a relapse. Turning down parties, reunions, or visits because you can't imagine answering, "How's everything at home?" without lying. You lie awake at 2 a.m., your heart is pounding, you're hyper-attuned to every creak, every car pulling up outside, every silence that doesn't quite feel safe. This isn't just fear of addiction itself, it's the constant unpredictability tossed into every daily plan. In this headspace, decisions happen in panic mode. You might say yes to yet another last bailout out of guilt or because you're desperate for one quiet night, or you lash out, pushing away people who are actually trying to help. Should you call the police if things get bad? Should you threaten consequences about the car, the house, the kids? Can you trust the promises this time, or is it another false alarm? Every move feels like a trap. This weight of never knowing if today is the day it all falls apart can flatten any sense of peace or progress. All of this takes a toll, and I've talked about this toll in other videos. Headaches. Leave me alone! insomnia, tension that never lets up, seeps into your work, your friendships, your marriage, your parenting. You start to ration your energy, you cut people out, and maybe even wonder when you stopped living for yourself. You start to realize that your life, step by step, has bent around someone else's addiction. It dictates your plans, your mood, your relationships, your health. So you try to take some action. Maybe you hide bottles, you check pockets, you track every move, stage small interventions at breakfast or on the driveway. Most of the time, it's not about power, it's about not knowing what else to do. You draw lines and your own exhaustion erases them. One day you play hardball, the next night you pay for another hotel, another restart. It never looks strong or wise, and it never feels peaceful. It's survival, and it's not working. Meanwhile, the rest of the family rarely thanks you for stepping back. They might even label you the villain for saying, "That's enough." What actually happens when you stop fixing? You stop answering frantic midnight calls. You let the phone ring. Someone else calls you cold or selfish or heartless. The noise gets louder before it gets duller. Family drama ramps up. The script demands that someone go back to normal, even if normal was chaos. And during this shift, nobody is on your side. That is not surprising. It's familiar for everyone to lean on the fixer, even if they resented you yesterday. But surviving the initial fallout starts to carve out a little silence that's only yours. When all your best ideas have been shot down and you're at your wit's end, these are things you can do that don't require anyone else's permission or buy-in. Claim 5 minutes a day for yourself. Walk, shower, stand outside alone. It doesn't fix the big mess, but it gives you a little bit of breathing room. Set one boundary you won't break for anyone. Maybe it's never lending money or not answering calls after a certain hour. Don't aim for perfect, aim for possible. Memorize a hold the line phrase. When the guilt and the drama start up, try, "I can't help with that right now." Repeat until the point gets through to yourself, if not to anyone else. Contact one human outside the mess. A friend, a hotline, a group. Even if all you do is send a message, secrecy fuels chaos. Contact lets in some light. Use physical distractions. Pop in some music. Run cold water over your feet or your face. Walk to the mailbox to snap the urgent fix-it loop for a moment. Let yourself mess up. If you cave and bail someone out or break your own rule, don't spiral. Just notice it and start again as soon as you can. Jot a note on your phone about the day. Not for Instagram, just for you. You'll notice patterns and maybe some progress over time. Physically exit the scene when you can. If you need air to avoid a blow-up, take it. Drive, walk, stand in the backyard, whatever is possible for you. Have a backup plan for true emergencies. Know how to leave if things get scary. It isn't paranoia. It's being prepared. Find or begin your own support system. If you can't find a group, start with one person. Outsiders see what you can't. And if you'd like to take a deeper dive and really get to the root of healing this illusion of control, I've included a link for a free workbook, The Illusion of Control, on my website. Once you download it, you'll have lifetime access to this workbook as well as updates on future offers from me. This workbook will help you understand why control feels safe and offers real tools for overcoming the fear that takes you to these spaces. No one hands out trophies for holding a family together by sheer will, and letting go of the illusion that you can fix someone else is the hardest step most people take. If you're exhausted, uncertain, or just plain angry, good. That's called being awake. And that's what change really feels like. In the next episode, we'll talk about what happens when families split sides over how to help or handle addiction, the rifts, the alliances, the betrayals, and how to survive when the family itself feels at war.